Hello guys, in this video I want to show you my Procolor macro to colorize your terrain in Word Machine. This is the complete version of a previous one. I posted a video some time ago to show the very first version of this macro. Now it is complete and I can show you all the features. First of all, take a look to this function. We have got a very easy function. A simple advanced Perlin noise and an erosion node. This is enough to have this terrain. We can see a preview here. And on this terrain we will test the macro. Important thing is that you need a high resolution for better results. At least 4096 by 4096 pixels. This resolution will be enough to have a good texture, but even better, higher resolution, of course. About how to connect the texture, the macro. You will need at least one erosion node in your function to use this macro, because its input will be connected to the output of the erosion node, the height field, the flows, and the position maps in the relative inputs. Height field, flows, and the position maps are present even here on the outputs to have a better and more organized flow here in the function. But the true outputs of this macro are the first two: bitmap texture output and gradient texture. This output is useful if you want to use your own color palette using other colorizer node or macro shipped with Word Machine, for example. Now, I already played a bit with the macro to show you a simple texture. Here you can see the bitmap, but I'm going to select the overlay view to see the texture computed and apply it to the terrain. And here you are. Let's play a bit with the settings. Now, first of all, I like to lock the preview on the overlay view, because this allows to see how your changes affect the texture immediately, in real time. This is the property windows. And of course, if I change something here, for example, I'm going to change the height of the valley color, in this case the grass. And you see immediately the change here on the preview. So we have got the max height of the valley color or the ground color and the value of the fell-off. The valley color presence make more or less visible this color. Click OK, try to build, and see a first result of our work. Now, let's change, for example, the settings for the rock. So, the cliff, slope, and fall-off. In this case, I can increase the presence of a rock color, decreasing this slide, and the opposite. The same thing as before for the fall-off value. I suggest to you to keep this value quite high for better results. And you have got, of course, the erosion flow, and this is the presence of that flows. For example, now I'm going to set things quite low, click OK, build a texture. And now they are completely or almost completely disappeared. You can see a light color here that show us the flows. Increasing this value, make the flows more visible. Okay? And we have got even the color variation. This is a fractal that add color variation on the texture according with this selector. You can see now the color is changed according to our settings changes. You should experiment to discover how it works. In this case, multiply, the color will be darker. And so you can play with it to have variation using the same color palette. And now let's go ahead and try to change the color palette. Now we have got the green mountains. We can change something completely different, for example, Irish mood. Some of these colors work better with different kind of terrains, of course. I find this color palette quite nice. Or let's try something like desert sand rock here. Build the texture. And you have a completely different color palette. Now you can change, of course, like before, the presence of the valley color, slope color, and so on. I'm having a bit of fun just to show you how it works. And you can see that it's really easy and fast. Now, I would like to show you something else. The equalize slide, the last one, allows to change all those settings using just one slide. Affect all settings in one time to have something a bit different. It is useful to change the distribution of the colors very quickly, or even if you change color palette, to have settings that fits better with the new color you selected. For example, now let's select the green mountains, and with the equalize I can immediately have a better results on texture without the need to work on other settings. Build the terrain and let's see. Okay. Another very important thing is the snow. I can enable the snow function. And there are two slides that control the distribution. The minimum altitude of the snow. You can see you can have the snow on. And of course, if you increase this value, the snow disappears from the ground and remain only on the top of the mountains. You can even enable snow on flows. It will apply snow color on the flow maps. And you will have something like this. Last thing about the snow is about this one. Increase the coverage. Let's change the slope where the snow will be present. And enable snow at angle. It means you can choose the particular angle where the snow is much more. You can see that is rotating. This is the result. Keep in mind that you should have a bit odd results. It depends on the shape of the terrain and your settings. I'm talking about snow at angle. By the way, it's a function that can be very useful if you need to have quickly a texture to use, for example, for distant terrain. This one works quite well. So now you know everything about this macro. For the output, you can save the bitmap using a bitmap output here and save this up as a bitmap, and a nag field output as you do usually to save the high field. Of course, you can save the other maps and combine them as you want with the 3D software you use to render this terrain. Now I'd like to show you some final renders I achieved using only this macro to colorize the terrain. All the renders you see was achieved using View by Eon software. Here you are. These two terrains are achieved using this macro. Terrain and color are achieved using World Machine, imported into View and rendered. And this is the result. Of course, in this case, I used very high resolution terrain, 8192 by 8192, so quite high. And last one, in this terrain I used two macro and two different color palette, and I combined them to achieve this kind of texture with this color variation. You can use all the way you can imagine to achieve a complex texture. You can combine, you can experiment. The important thing is that you have fun creating your own stuff. Thanks for watching this video tutorial. See you the next time.